Hi, my name is Anthony Hamilton. I'm the author of this book, Mind, Time, and Power, a book about using the power of your mind to create more of the future that you want. In the late 1970s, I learned a system from a very special entrepreneur named Paul J. Meyer, the founder of Success Motivation Institute. And in the early 1980s, I started traveling around the world to 18 different countries now, teaching people this system that I learned from Paul J. Meyer, a system for figuring out what you want and how to get it. Recently, I joined forces with a company to create an AI-powered app to coach people every day in this Paul Meyer system of creating more of the life that you want. In this conversation, I'm speaking with Greg, a client and a friend of mine who's using this app, and we're talking about the value of having this personal AI coach who knows my material because I've uploaded my books and I've recorded special instruction audios that you listen to every day for a few minutes for 12 weeks that will day by day walk you through this Paul Meyer system of using a workbook and these worksheets to figure out what it is you want, what it is that's holding you back, and put you on the path to a new life for yourself.
This process, right, that I learned from Paul Meyer.
Yep.
And this thing here, you see?
Yep.
So this is what I realized, and I've only realized it, I realized it before, but I couldn't articulate it. Because I didn't know the word algorithm until recently, right?
Right.
But of course, if you look around, like all of these developments in technology and engineering, they're all created by engineers because this is what they learn, right?
Right.
You know, they learn how to create these algorithms, right? Like Google was founded on an algorithm, and Facebook, same thing. So like a lot of these tech companies, they have these engineers working on these algorithms, and the algorithm does a certain thing, like recognize speech, for example, right? So, for example, if you look at this thing, you see, this is something. This is from week 7, I think, in this program that's in my app here. So this is just something I found online, right? This is sort of a iterative flow chart, or an algorithm, you might call it, of how to initially design and test and improve and then assemble and then finally bring to market something, right?
Right.
So you can understand this.
Yep.
You design it, then you make a prototype, then you test it. If it passes, you assemble it. If it doesn't pass, then you improve the design, test it, improve the design. So this is an iterative process.
Yes.
Or an algorithm, I guess, is another word for it. As far as I know, they're very similar words. And so, so what I realize is this is what I learned from Paul Meyer. It's basically this thing on the right here, you see? Overview of the goals achievement process. This is a simplified version of the same thing. On the left, here's this, how to achieve any goal, right? And on the right, it's a similar thing, but it's more like this. Except it's my version of it. So I put this thing together before I ever heard the word algorithm. But I sat down one day and I thought, okay, well, if this is a goal, you know, this is how to achieve a goal. And I talk about this, like I said, in week 7, you know. It's like how to go to the store and buy a loaf of bread. Well, this is how you do it. And so what
Right.
and so what I realized, and this is what we were talking about a few weeks ago, is that this is the kind of thing that people generally don't know. Like, people can do it. I mean, looking at this thing on the left here, how to achieve any goal. I mean, anybody can follow this system to go to the store and buy a loaf of bread. If I say to you, okay, I'm going to go to the store this afternoon and buy a loaf of rye bread. So what I'm going to do, okay, well, I'm going to walk to the store. I know where the store is, so I walk to the store, and then am I getting closer? Yeah, okay, take the next step, keep on going, keep on going. All of this is unconscious, right? Because people don't normally think about this. And then they get to the store, and they say, so the person in the store says, can I help you? And you say, yeah, I'm looking for some rye bread. So the guy says, oh, we're sold out, but we'll have more in tomorrow. And you say, well, yeah, but I want a loaf of rye bread now. So you say, well, where else can I get some rye bread? And the person might say, well, there's a store just the 3 blocks down here. You can go there. They probably have rye bread. Okay, well, that's like modify your plan, right? Am I getting closer? No. Oh, modify your plan. Okay. So you ask the manager, where can I get some rye bread? He might say, there's a place 3 blocks down the street. So this is how to achieve your goal. Then you go down the street, you say, do you have rye bread? They say, yeah. You buy the rye bread and go home. If they say no, then you might say, well, where else can I get some? And they'll say, well, jump on a bus, go downtown and go to the Safeway, and they have rye bread, So that process is what I tried to duplicate on the right here by saying, okay, what's your present situation? What are your short range and long range general objectives? What are your tools, your talents, your abilities, your likes, your network of friends and relationships and that sort of thing? What are your short range and long range specific goals? What stands in the way and what's a possible solution? What's your time template? Create a specific plan of action, right? Evaluate your attitudes, your desire, your belief. Well, of course, if your desire is weak, then you say, okay, pull out the what's it worth to me worksheet, and you write down all the reasons why you should want this enough to overcome these roadblocks. And what about your belief? If your belief is weak, read your past successes list and read it often enough and play around with it long enough so that your belief and your confidence goes up and you have the ability to take the next step. So you keep on going, you record your progress, you use self-talk, affirmations, visualizations to improve your attitude. And then the last one at the bottom says, take the next step. So this is literally kind of an exploded view of every step in this left-hand worksheet here, right?
Right.
So I realized, oh, this is what I learned from Paul Meyer. But I never thought of it, of course, in these terms until many years later, like when I was putting together this workbook and this course, which ended up on Udemy, and this workbook, the life planning workbook, then I put it in the workbook. But this is the thing that people don't understand. Now, an engineer would know this, right? An engineer could look at this worksheet on the right and say, oh, I recognize that. That's what I'm learning. And, I went to become an engineer, and I learned this in, year 2 or something, or year 1. So to me, this is what I call your life success algorithm. And this is the thing that people don't know.
Right.
If you look at the top part of this worksheet, it shows you the mechanics of figuring out what it is you want, prioritizing your fantasies, your dreams, turning them into goals, and then forming a plan to achieve them. Most people are going to fail because they don't know this first part of the process. But even those that do know this process are going to be limited or might fail completely because of what's on the bottom of this worksheet. This is where you evaluate your attitude, your motivation, your belief, your self-esteem, your self-image, your confidence. These internal processes are going to be the ones that trip everybody up. And this is why I designed this app, because without daily input and daily reflection, we're all going to get caught up in these emotional issues, which are going to derail our ability to achieve what we want.
And when they have a mentor, if they have a teacher or a coach or a mentor that sort of understands this, well, the coach or the teacher might explain this to the students or to their, athletes or whatever the coach is working with, and help them implement this life success algorithm. So to me, this is the simplest way for me to explain why everybody needs this workbook. It's not because Anthony Hamilton is a genius. No, it's because this is the kind of thing that every successful person uses. You talk to any successful entrepreneur, they do this. And a lot of it is unconscious. They might not think of it in these terms because, I'm specifically focused on things like building your belief, building your attitude, building your confidence, using affirmations, visualizations, that sort of thing. They might not necessarily be thinking in those terms, but they're certainly thinking in terms of this, designing something, trying it, creating a prototype, test it. If it doesn't work, change the design until you get it to work right, and then you assemble it. Does it still work? Oh, got to change the design a little bit. Finally, you get it to work, and then, okay, now you can put it out there, So this is sort of the secret to me.
Right.
This is the secret of how to go from wanting something to literally being able to create it and experience it, whether we're talking about finding a better relationship or losing 10 pounds or improving your diet or buying a new car. This is kind of the process that we all go through unconsciously. And that's the problem, right? If it's unconscious, even if you're successful at it, like you're successful at your job and you've successfully bought a house and got a mortgage and bought cars and had your car repaired, because your thinking follows this kind of a pattern, right?
Right.
But I'm going to stop the sharing here. But again, if it's unconscious, then you don't know exactly how you did it.
Right. Well, I was doing your exercise this morning, and I did the 30-day visualization, and I was doing the morning, and I haven't done the evening as much. So I got to start the sequence. I do the morning and the evening. And what was interesting, it's like a loop, right?
Yeah.
The morning and the evening creates this loop. But then the 30-day creates a loop as well. So you could stand 30 days from now and you could look back to the past and say, hey, and so what it starts to create is this concept of agency. You're like,
Yes.
oh, I can control it, right? Well, then I started to say, well, if you look at putting 30 days to 30 days to 30 days to 30 days, well, now they're waypoints. Okay, so you start to say, hey, look at where I did on day 30, look at where I did 60, 90, 120, and you start to see progress. So you start to say, well, wait a minute, I'm actually controlling this more than I thought I was. I mean, I'm starting to see, I was looking at my life, and we literally moved up the hill. We had 10 years at one place, 10 years at another place, and 10 years at another place. Well, the houses are successively better. And we went from, our savings account went successfully better, and our 401k went better. And we went from no kids to kids, and we went from no dogs to dogs. And so we're moving up the hill. I'm saying, well, wait a minute, if you look at this in the big scope of things, I do have control. It appears that I don't have control because random things happen. But you say, my progressive realization of these goals have led to my general happiness and to a better state of being, right? Well, say now if I really get this, I do have more control, even though I may be frustrated by limitations along the way. I have a lot of control, more than I think I do. So now you start to say, now you start looking at slipstream time hacking or jumping from train to train. You say the people in the other train are better. Well, I do have agency. I can get to the other train. Well, how do I do it? Well, I'm going to have to make some decisions. I'm going to have to follow my awareness.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it's like, if you were to tell me, hey, we're going to have a party tonight, I need you to go out and get some rye bread.
Right.
So, when you come to the party tonight, bring some rye bread, because my wife made this special, tuna salad thing, and she wants to make these sandwiches for everybody using this special black German rye bread that she likes, So when you come tonight, bring some rye bread. So I show up at your party and you go, hey, did you get the rye bread? And I say, oh, no, I went to the store, but they didn't have any. Well, you're going to think I'm an idiot, right? Like,
right.
Why didn't you go to the next store? Why didn't you go to 2 or 3 stores until you found the rye bread? Oh, I never thought of that. Well, that's the problem that most people have, they don't think about it. Oh, I tried something. I applied for this job. I didn't get it. So therefore, I stopped applying. Well, then you look at someone like Sylvester Stallone. Apparently, he talked to 1,000 different people before he got the money together and the team together to make Rocky. And it's that way with everybody. But if you look at people like that, and the average person, of course there is no average person, but I mean, you think about it, and you say to the person, oh well, look at Sylvester Stallone, he wanted to be an actor and a movie star and he became one. And people will say, well, yeah, but he's lucky. Well, if you watched him when he was outside that liquor store trying to sell his dog because he realized he couldn't afford to buy dog food for his dog and he felt bad, so he thought the dog should be living with somebody else, so he sold his dog. Well, he went through hell to create that movie. It wasn't, that he's lucky, right? And so this idea of this sort of process, this algorithm that has built into it, figure out what you want, master dream list, choose your goals, form a plan. If you encounter an obstacle, figure out some way to get around it, over it, or through it, or under it, and keep on going. And as that video I think you've seen of Steve Jobs talking about this, he said only when you get there can you look back and you'll see all the way all the dots lined up. But when you look to the future, you can't tell which one's going to pay off because you don't know.
To find out more about getting your own version of this app, follow the link in the illustration, or find out about getting a free trial of this app, contact me through the email in the description below this video.